Ever played Monopoly?
Loved it.
Nothing beats ending up with all the hotels, all the cash.
Yep, I'm the Monopoly queen while the rest are stuck paying rent on Baltic Avenue.
That's a sneak peek at capitalism.
So, Marx would ban Monopoly?
Nah, he'd rewrite the rules. No more landlords, comrades. Everyone shares the railroads.
I'd still sneak a hotel on Boardwalk.
Marx would sigh and say, see, the revolution is overdue. Stick with me. We will break down his playbook, minus the dice.
Let's talk Marxism today.
Is it a solution or pipe dream?
Hype or hope?
We will sort it out.
No jargon, just clear ideas.
Welcome to LitChat.
So, what's Marxism like?
Marxism is like that loud uncle at every party you can't ignore. History, politics, economics, even your ex feed. It's there, waving its red flag.
Yup, scroll 2 seconds and bam. Everyone's yelling about it, debating it, or tattooing it on their soul. It's inescapable.
So, let's rewind the tape. How did this red hot idea pop out?
First, the origin in a nutshell.
Alright, so Marxism's roots? Two 19th century masterminds.
Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, right? The dynamic duo.
But there was no rule book carved in stone. They were not Moses with tablets.
So, no holy commandments of Marx.
Nah, more like a DIY kit for decoding society. They handed us X-ray specs to see through the mess.
A lens to spy on history, cash, and who is bossing who around.
You got it. Oh, and fun fact, Marxism wasn't even their hashtag. It blew up later thanks to a fanboy named Karl Kotsky.
Nice trivia, but rewind. How would Marx and Engels become best buddies?
They first met in 1842, then 1844 Paris.
Spilling tea on the Industrial Revolution's ugly side? Slums, brutal working conditions.
Yes, Engels' book, The Condition of the Working Class in England, was like, Marx, check this. Workers are mad enough to flip the world.
Wait, what about Adam Smith? Where is he fitting in?
Oh, Smith is the granddaddy of economics. His big hit, The Wealth of Nations, dropped in 1776, the same year as the American Revolution. It is basically the free market Bible.
Free markets like shop till you drop?
Exactly. He said wealth is all about boosting production and trading it. His big hit, The Invisible Hand.
Oh, yes. Human greed is good. It saves the day without knowing, right?
Spot on. Smith is like chase your money, open a bakery, poof, jobs for all. No master plan, just happy accidents.
And he loved splitting up work.
Division of labor, yes.
Specialization.
Totally. Freedom to trade, compete, innovate. Minimum government interference. But he didn't call it capitalism. That term came later.
Smart guy. Did he miss anything?
He wasn't clueless, warned about monopolies.
So, how is Marx crashing this party?
Marx read Smith, then flipped the script. Prosperity? It's a worker crushing machine. Profits mean exploitation. So workers revolt.
Boom. Marxism is born. But socialism was already a thing, yeah?
Oh, socialism was the warm up act. People dreamed of cooperative societies, no private property, and everyone sharing the wealth. Marx and Engels sharpened it into a battle plan.
They claimed that capitalism was doomed and that the world would transition to socialism, then communism.
Socialism is broader, share the wealth, tweak the system. Marxism is the hardcore remix, revolution, not polite fixes.
Marx argued that the working class had to seize power through conflict, not just reforms.
Yes, socialism is the transition phase after the revolution where the state controls production, Communism is the final stage. No state, no classes, just pure equality.
From Smith's invisible hand to Marx's iron fist. Wild ride.
History is a roller coaster. Buckle up. We have only just started.
All right, let's zoom in. So, what is the core of Marxism?
Okay, that will be historical materialism.
Sounds like a blockbuster title. What is it about?
This is the bedrock of Marxist thought. The idea is how a society produces stuff, how it organizes labor and resources. In short, the mode of production, and it is the driving force behind everything else.
Means who owns the land?
And who the plows and the selling rights.
Okay, so like how we make and distribute things shapes everything else. Our politics, our laws, our beliefs, even our art.
Think of it like the foundation of a building, the economic base.
So this base runs the show.
It is the big boss. It controls everything else, laws, leaders, even our ideas. That everything else is the superstructure, like a roof on a house.
Okay, give me an easy example.
Imagine a place where rich folks own factories and workers get paid to work there. This is the base, and the superstructure emerges from it and reinforces it. The legal system will protect private property rights. Cultural values like individualism or the American dream also encourage people to work hard and accept the system.
And it will benefit owning class more.
Media and education might promote ideas that justify wealth inequality. They are like, you can be rich too, just try harder. It keeps the workers busy while the bosses count their cash.
Got it. So, historical materialism says history is all about how we make things.
Right. It's not about kings or heroes. It's about who is making the bread and beds. That's what pushes everything forward.
And if the base changes, the roof changes too?
Yes, when the base shifts, the superstructure eventually adjusts. Historical materialism sees history as a series of stages defined by these dynamics.
What are they?
Primitive communism, slavery, feudalism, capitalism, and an eventual move towards socialism and communism.
Wait, keep it slow. And no jargons, remember?
Okay, let's do it the LitChat way.
But first tell me, how does transition happen?
Oh, that's the fun part. Workers get mad, fight back, and flip the game. Hang on, it's a wild ride. Well, Marxists see change as dialectical, meaning it's not this smooth linear process. It's more about conflict, contradictions, tensions within the material world itself. You have these opposing forces pushing and pulling, and this clash, this struggle, that's what drives historical transformation.
So, dialectics is like life being a big mess full of arguments.
Exactly. Workers yell, pay us more, while bosses growl, more profit for me. That's the contradiction.
And it fixes things?
Yes. Think of a seed. It contradicts itself by breaking apart to grow into a plant. In society, class conflict between workers and capitalists can spark revolutions.
So, the transformation is inevitable.
Gradual changes pile up until they hit a tipping point, creating something new. Water heating slowly is a quantitative change. But when it suddenly boils, there is a qualitative shift.
So, what were the stages and how did society evolve through those?
It's like a cosmic game of musical chairs. At the very first, there was primitive communism. Think cavemen with sticks, hunting deer together, no bosses, everyone shares the stew. Cute, right?
Like a prehistoric picnic? Why did it end?
They got too good at it. Someone invents a plow, and suddenly there is extra grain. One guy goes, this file is mine, and boom, inequality is born. The picnic is over, and we are off to slavery.
Sounds grim.
Yep, slaves doing the dirty work. The rich own everything. But here is the twist: slaves are not exactly motivated, and you can't keep reading for more forever.
So it crashes?
Like a chariot with no brakes. New tools and trade make slavery unproductive, too slow for the shiny future. Slaves rebel, empires fall, and we stumble into feudalism.
Wow. So knights and peasants, right?
Bingo. Lords keep the land and peasants work it and hand over the crops. The church says God wants it this way, and everyone nods, but then
Something messes it up.
along come windmills, trade, and merchants with cash. The peasants get restless, the lords can't keep up, and the new kids on the block, the bourgeois, they say, move over, we have got machines. Here comes capitalism.
Factories, suits, and coffee breaks.
Capitalists own the factories. Workers clock in for pennies, and the bosses swim in profits. It's a wild ride: cars, planes, Netflix. But here is the catch: the workers make everything yet get crumbs. That's the contradiction. The machine is too good, and the rich get too rich.
So the workers snap.
Exactly. Strikes, protests, maybe a revolution or two. They grab the reins, kick out the bosses, and we hit socialism. No more my factory, it's our factory.
Sounds nice. Is that the end?
Nah, it's the warm up. Socialism is the messy middle. Workers run the show, but there is still some cleanup. Once the take is so good, we have got abundance for all. No scarcity, no fights. It moves into communism. No bosses, no state. Just people sharing the stew again.
Back to the picnic?
Full circle. But with robots grilling the deer this time. The trick is, every stage has a fight: old ways versus new tools, slaves versus masters, peasants versus lords, workers versus capitalists. That's the engine: class struggle.
Marx is famous for his critique of capitalism. What's the heart of that critique?
The core idea is exploitation. The owners of the factories, the land, the capital, they extract wealth from the workers who have nothing but their labor to sell.
So the big bosses take all the cash?
Yes, through something called surplus value. Fancy term, big scam.
Wait, what does that mean?
Okay, imagine a worker making a super cool toy worth $100. They only get paid like $20 for their hard work. The extra $80, it zooms straight into the boss's piggy bank as profit.
So the capitalist gets mega rich.
Totally, but not by working harder. They just sit back, own the toy factory, and let the workers do the heavy lifting.
Marx was all about hating on capitalism, right? But did it have some upsides as well, at least compared to what came before?
Oh yeah, Marx recognized it. He was like, okay, capitalism, you are wild. You build awesome machines, made tons of money, and kicked those old school kings and knights to the curb. Nice job. But it's still a shaky Jenga tower that's gonna topple someday.
That means he saw it as necessary, but flawed and unsustainable.
Right.
Okay, so we have got exploitation, class struggle, surplus value. What are some other key Marxist concepts we should know about?
One big one is alienation.
Let's have an example.
Imagine you are working, but it feels like your job hates you. Let's say you are Sam making cookies at a big factory, okay?
I like cookies. Go.
Cool. Sam is baking cookies all day, but he does not get to keep them. The boss takes them, sells them, and pockets the cash. Sam is like, hey, I made those, but they are not his. That's step one. The cookies ditch him.
So cruel of the cookies.
Step two. Sam does not decide anything. The boss yells, make them faster, use this recipe. Sam is just a cookie robot, doing what he's told. No fun, no say.
Poor guy is bored out of his mind.
Totally. Step 3. It's not even him anymore. He is baking, but it is not like he is proud or happy. He is just a guy stuck in a factory, not a baker with a passion. The job has stolen his spark.
So he's a zombie with an apron?
Exactly. And last bit, he is cut off from his buddies. Everyone is racing to bake more, not chatting or helping each other. It's every cookie maker for themselves. No friends, just rivals.
So Sam has got nothing left. No cookies, no joy, no friends.
Alienation is when your work takes everything you out of it. Sam's making cookies, but he is not really there, just a tool for the boss's wallet.
It is dehumanizing.
And so it is called dehumanizing effect.
Wow.
Its money is to create more money through the exploitation of labor.
But what is the solution?
Sam would have to kick the boss out and run the factory with his crew. Then the cookies are theirs and he is happy again.
So socialism and communism.
Bingo. Marxism is like a big treasure map. It's all about moving past capitalism. First stop, socialism. Picture this: factories, farms, and shiny stuff aren't owned by some greedy tycoon. They're shared by everybody, like a giant community toy chest.
So we are making profit for everyone, not just for some rich guy's wallet.
You got it. Then the grand finale is communism, the ultimate party level. No bosses, no borders, no mine, mine, mine. Everything is shared like snacks at a picnic. The motto: give what you can, take what you need.
A stateless, classless society, no private property.
No,
Everything is owned and shared communally.
everything.
Oh, that sounds like a dreamland. But how to even get there?
Marx said we need a full on revolution. Workers unite, storm the castle, and kick the capitalists off the throne.
Oh, yes, the dictatorship of the proletariat. Workers running the show.
Exactly. They would grab the factories, share the goodies, and then eventually destroy the state itself.
For one big happy commune. Wild plan.
Okay, we have looked at the origins, the critique of capitalism, the vision of the future.
But there are few more jargons to be sorted out.
Shoot them.
First, classical Marxism.
It is the original recipe, straight from Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Think of it as a starter pack for revolution. Capitalism is a mess. Workers should flip the table and we will all share the pie. Simple, spicy, and a little wild.
Cool plan. Did everyone stick to it?
No. Classical Marxism is like a hit song. Everyone wanted to remix it. After Marx died, his fans started tweaking the beat.
So, different versions. Lay them out.
First up, Leninism. Vladimir Lenin, Russian revolutionary, takes classical Marxism and goes, workers are great, but they need a coach. He adds a vanguard party, a squad of smart rebels to lead the charge. In 1917, he pulls it off in Russia. Boom, Soviet Union. It's Marxism with a megaphone.
So, same goal, but with a bossy cheerleader.
Yep, Lenin is like, trust me, I will get us there faster.
And then,
Next, Trotskyism. Leon Trotsky, Lenin's pal, says, cool, but don't stop at one country. Revolution's gotta go global or it flops. He's all about permanent chaos till the whole world is red.
world tour Marxism. What else?
Then there is Stalinism. Joseph Stalin grabs Lenin's mic and cranks it to a dictator mode. Forget slow and steady. Let's force it. Big state, big plans, no arguing. It's classical Marxism with a steel fist. Less worker freedom, more do what I say or else. Oh, it was a basket for lots of folks. Meanwhile, Maoism pops up in China. Mao Zedong is like, Marx forgot the farmers. Peasants can revolt too. He mixes classical Marxism with rural vibes, rice paddies instead of just factory hammers.
Farmers crashing the party.
Totally. Then we have got Western Marxism. Fancy thinkers in Europe, like Gramsci, says, wait, it's not just factories, it's brains too. They focus on culture and ideas, how TV, ads, and school keep workers calm, resigned to the exploitation. Less fists, more head games.
Hegemony?
Yes, The powerful convince everyone their way is the only way, and we all nod along.
Give me an example.
All right, let's go with Tom Sawyer. Hegemony is when someone gets you to do what they want, but makes you think it's your idea. Here is how it works.
Ah, the fence painting thing.
See, you got it. Tom has got this boring chore, painting a big fence. He does not want to do it. But instead of begging for help, he acts like it is the coolest job ever. Oh, painting is so fun. You would love it. Next thing, his friends are begging to paint for him, and they even trade their stuffs for the chance.
He doesn't force them. He just makes painting seem like a privilege. They are slaving away happily, thinking they won something. Tom is in charge, but they don't even see it.
He is the boss without looking bossy.
Exactly. In society, the rich make their rules feel normal. Work hard, buy stuff, don't complain. It's not a law, but you feel dumb questioning it. They win by making you think it's your idea.
Very well said. Hegemony is the art of getting you to salute the flag.
So each branch of Marxism keeps the core. Capitalism stinks, workers rule, but tweaks the how, who, and where.
Yeah, Lenin adds leaders, Trotsky goes global, Stalin gets bossy, Mao grabs pigeons, and the Western crew polishes the theory.
It's wild how one idea splits so much, but then which one is the real Marxism?
A good try. Classical Marxism is the root, Marx and Engels' raw deal. The branches, they are all just kids fighting over dad's toolbox. Pick your flavor, spicy Lenin or chill Gramsci. Just don't ask me to settle the family feud.
So, what is Marxist criticism? Sounds like Marx yelling at bad books.
Close enough. It's a way of looking at the world, especially art and culture, through Marx's ideas. It's like putting on red tinted glasses to spot who has got power and who is getting squashed.
Okay, how did it start?
Picture Marx and Engels in the 1800s, surrounded by smoky factories and complaining workers. They're writing about capitalism. In the Communist Manifesto, they say that art and ideas reflect who is in charge. After they died, folks picked up the thread and it became viral.
So, it's about finding the boss in the stories?
Exactly. It kicked off big time in the early 1900s. Thinkers said, hey, let's use Marx's lens on literature, paintings, whatever. Marxist criticism asks, who has got the cash and power in this story? How is it hiding the struggle between classes? It's less nice poem and more who is exploiting who here.
That sounds intense. Did it stick around?
Oh, it grew legs. In the 1920s and 30s, it got hot in places like Russia after the revolution. Critics like Leon Trotsky looked at books and said, this isn't just pretty words, it's a mirror of the system. They saw culture as a battleground, capitalism sneaking its work hard, obey vibe into everything.
What happened next?
By the mid 1900s, it spread west. In Europe, Antonio Gramsci says culture is not just reflecting power, it's making it. Then the Frankfurt School said mass media is the real puppet master. Movies and ads keep us docile.
So, it went from books to TV?
Yes, it evolved. Early on, it was basic. Spot the class fight in Shakespeare. Later, it got deeper. How does a sitcom sell you capitalism? By the late 20th century, it mixed with other ideas like feminism or post colonial stuff. Critics started asking, how is this novel propping up not just class, but race or gender too?
It's like a Swiss army knife now, cuts through everything.
You got it. It grew into a tool for unpacking all sorts of power games. Today, it's still kicking, dissecting ads, TikToks, whatever, asking who is winning and who is painting the fence.
Wild.
Marx's ghost is still critiquing your binge watch. Keep an eye out.
So Marxist criticism argues that ideologies aren't neutral.
Never. They reflect the interest of the ruling class. It makes the status quo seem natural, inevitable, even desirable, even if it's really only benefiting a small elite.
We also came across the term Engelsian Marxist criticism.
Engels, he suggested that art and literature are not always just mouthpieces for the ruling class. He believed they could have a degree of independence, a kind of critical age that allows them to challenge the status quo, even inspire revolutionary change.
So art can be a tool for social transformation also.
That's the idea. And there is also vulgar Marxism, a term often used to criticize overly simplistic interpretations that see a direct one to one relationship between economics and art. This approach can be pretty rigid and does not always do justice to the complexity of artistic expression.
Right. It's not just about finding the class message in every artwork.
Exactly. It's more layered than that. And then you have something like Russian formalism, which took a completely different approach. They focus on the formal aspects of literature style, structure, language, and pretty much ignored the social and political context.
So a big difference in focus there. But the jargons are never ending.
Bring them on.
We also saw terms like Engelism, Orthodox Marxism, Bolshevism. What did those refer to?
Angelism sometimes refers to the interpretations that focus on Engels's later writings, which some argue suggest a more gradual, peaceful transition to socialism. Orthodox Marxism, often associated with Karl Kautsky, also advocated for a more evolutionary path to socialism through democratic means. Bolshevism, led by Lenin, was characterized by its emphasis on a disciplined revolutionary party, the overthrow of capitalism, and the establishment of the dictatorship of the proletariat.
So a lot of variation there.
Absolutely. You have got Marxist humanism, which focuses on the human aspects of Marxist thought, things like alienation and the potential for human liberation, and structural Marxism associated with Althusser emphasizes the role of social structures and systems in shaping our lives.
Althusser, I read about his take on this base and superstructure.
He argued that while the base is definitely important, it does not determine everything. There is some room for maneuver. He called it relative autonomy. Things like culture and ideology, they have their own internal dynamics. They are not just puppets of the economic base.
It's not a one-way street.
Not entirely. Althusser also talked about ideological state apparatuses, things like schools, the media, the family, that subtly shape our beliefs and values to support the existing order. It's all about how we internalize the dominant ideology.
So how these ideas played out in the real world? What happened in Russia?
In Russia, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, seized power in the 1917 revolution. They established the Soviet Union, the first socialist state based on Marxist Leninist principles. They implemented radical changes, but the country also went through periods of intense repression and political violence.
It wasn't smooth sailing at all.
Not at all. And after Lenin died, Stalin came to power and things got even more brutal. The Soviet Union eventually collapsed in 1991, and many people saw it as a failure of the Marxist Leninist model.
And China?
China had its own revolution in 1949, led by Mao Zedong and the Communist Party. They established a communist state based on Maoism, which adapted Marxist ideas to the conditions of China with its large peasant population. China went through periods of upheaval like the Cultural Revolution and has since undergone significant economic reforms incorporating elements of capitalism. It's a complex story.
So Marxism has had this huge impact, but it's also been incredibly controversial. Let's talk about its successes and failures.
On the one hand, Marxism has inspired social movements for equality, justice, and workers' rights all over the world. It has given people a language to talk about power, oppression, and the need for systemic change.
It has actually been a powerful force for social change.
Absolutely. But on the other hand, it has also been associated with some pretty terrible things: authoritarian regimes, violence, suppression of freedom. Critics argue that its focus on class struggle and revolution inevitably leads to this kind of outcomes.
And even within Marxism, there has been debate about whether those regimes truly reflected Marxist ideals.
Right. Some argue that there were distortions of Marx's vision, while others say those problems were inherent in the ideology itself. It's a complex debate.
So, where does that leave us? What is the legacy of Marxism today?
It's still buzzing. People love to chat about it. It's like a guide to see why some folks have all and others have nothing, even with all their iPods and all.
Even when we are playing Monopoly?
Totally. It's asking, do you really need to own all the railroads?
Who's on your side?
Whose fence are you painting?
What's on your shopping list?
Hold up. What's on yours?
Where do you shop from?
Wow.
Okay, one more. Does hegemony have anything to do with Hegel?
What?
I'm just asking.